Somewhere right now, someone is filming a spoon of bright green powder being whisked into milk, and it looks almost too vivid to be real. Somewhere else, someone is nervously lifting a bite of sticky, stringy, fermented beans and posting it. And in a shopping mall far from Japan, a crowd is wandering between food stalls under paper lanterns, grazing as they go. 3 very different scenes, but all of them are Japanese food culture crossing over. Matcha's gone viral, Natto's having a health moment, and Japanese summer festivals are popping up inside overseas malls. Let's find out why. Matcha is everywhere online right now. DW reported on June 25th that matcha has become a worldwide social media hit, partly thanks to that unmistakable vivid green color. The report frames it as a global superfood, folding Japanese tea into overseas wellness culture, while also spotlighting just how painstaking the production really is, hand-picking, drying, and grinding in slow-turning granite mills. But here's what's underneath that green. Matcha comes out of the Japanese tea ceremony, a tradition where powdered tea isn't about flavor alone, but about ritual, discipline, and the seasons. And the way it's grown is intensely place-specific and labor-intensive. That granite mill turns slowly for a reason, because grinding too fast would scorch the leaf and ruin it. So matcha was never a casual drink. It was craft and ceremony built on patience. And that's exactly why it fits the moment. A ritual product made slowly and mindfully lands perfectly in a global culture that's hungry for both wellness and something beautiful to share. The color gets the click. But the ritual is what makes people stay. This isn't just a trend, it's a centuries-old tea ritual finding the perfect home in the language of wellness and image sharing. That tension, an old, slow Japanese craft meeting fast modern culture, shows up again in our next trend, but this time the product couldn't be more humble. Natto, those sticky, pungent fermented soybeans, is having a genuine global moment. AFP reported on June 22nd that Japan's natto exports tripled from 2017 to 5,248 tons in 2025, riding the wider fermented food boom alongside kimchi and kombucha. And a Los Angeles restaurant owner told AFP that more non-Japanese customers started trying natto after social media started calling it a superfood. Now here's the thing about natto in Japan. It's not glamorous at all. It's an everyday breakfast staple, loved at home for being nutritious, affordable, and fermented. The kind of food you eat over rice on an ordinary morning. It's prized precisely for what it is and the stickiness, the smell, the fermentation, not for being polished up or made pretty. It asks you to accept it on its own terms. And that's what makes its rise so fascinating. Natto isn't trending because someone made it more Western-friendly. It's trending because the global fermentation movement has made people newly willing to read a weird texture as a badge of authenticity. The sliminess isn't a barrier anymore. It's proof it's the real thing. This isn't just a trend. It's the world learning to accept Japanese food on Japanese terms, sticky strings and all. From something eaten quietly at a home breakfast table, our last trend moves to the loud, joyful crowd of a summer festival, recreated far from Japan. Japanese summer festivals are being rebuilt inside overseas shopping malls. Eatbook reported on July 2nd that the Isetan Hanabi Matsuri had returned to Waterway Point, running from June 30th to July 12th. It was packed with highly shareable treats, viral vegetable-shaped rice bread, strawberry daifuku, warabi mochi, matcha desserts, and the mall's official promotion even offered rewards limited to the first 500 redemptions, a sign this was activated at real public scale. But to understand why this works, you have to understand what a Hanabi Matsuri actually is. In Japan, a summer fireworks festival isn't really about the fireworks alone. It's about the whole rhythm of the evening, wandering between food stalls, grazing on little bites, browsing, soaking in that seasonal atmosphere with a crowd. The food and the strolling are the festival as much as the sky. And that's the secret to these overseas versions. They're not simply importing Japanese dishes onto a menu. They're importing Japanese festival behavior, that wandering, grazing, shareable rhythm, and plugging it straight into modern urban life. People aren't just buying daifuku, they're getting to be at a Matsuri. This isn't just a trend, it's an entire way of experiencing summer being transplanted into everyday city life. What these three trends share is that none of them are watered-down versions of Japan. The matcha still demands the slow craft. The natto keeps its sticky, pungent honesty. The festival brings its whole wandering rhythm along with it. For a long time, Japanese food traveled the world by being adapted, made milder, smoothed out, made easier. But Japanese food has always been about integrity, about a product, a ritual, or an experience being fully itself. And the world is finally catching up to that, ready to meet Japanese food culture exactly as it is, and to fall for it precisely because it's real. If these stories made you curious to go deeper, we've written about the history and craft behind all of these over at Waden. Link in the description. See you next time.